History comes alive in the city of Welland with a new video project sponsored by the Welland Public Library. The Tales They Can Tell brings together seniors with young teens for some shared storytelling, bridging the gap between generations.
I read somewhere that a senior is a walking library, and it hit. Get these kids to interview the seniors. So we met with the kids, they're young ladies really, and they came up with ideas of things they wanted to know, and I suggested a few myself. They had always treated me with respect, so I had no problems with that. Well, the seniors loved them, and they themselves commented on their maturity, on their dedication, and the people at the library were absolutely wonderful because they also got an Ontario grant so that we could have it to the level that we wanted it, and we had some sponsors who jumped on, so obviously it was something that was wanted in the community, and I'm very proud of these kids.
What was the process of getting the young people together with the seniors and conducting these interviews?
Andy Harris, very, very patient. I bet he had about 9 hours of video that he edited. The second act, particularly, after you could see them getting to know each other in the first part. And the second part, it all let loose in hilarious conversation. The audience were laughing at things that they related to and so on. I was very proud of the project, and I knew we had the right videographer too for it.
Maddie, you had a chance to interview these seniors. What was that experience like for you?
Well, I was very interested in what they had to say because it is very amazing that they can remember so far into their lives, and I can barely remember yesterday. I was very impressed.
Maya, what was your experience like interviewing the seniors, and how did you prepare for it?
I just asked a bunch of questions about their lives, and it was very interesting to hear what they had to say about it.
What were some of the interesting stories that you heard?
The war, like how Helgi was in the war, I find it really touching to know that he survived. It's really nice to know.
Stories of hardship, immigration, struggles, and wartime difficulties were shared by the seniors, but not all of the stories were so serious.
My favorite story was a woman who threw her child at a mummy in a haunted house. That was actually very interesting.
I don't understand. How did that happen?
She was in a haunted house, and she'd been afraid of the mummy because she'd watched it with her aunt when she was littler. And so when she saw that mummy, she chucked her child at him, took the other one, and ran.
So what happened with the child?
He was okay, but I don't think he ever forgave her.
Two of the young people today mentioned your story as one that really opened their eyes about the difference between their experience as a 13 or 14-year-old and your experience back in Germany as a 14-year-old. Can you explain that?
I try to give them the impression, that we are actually all alike. And we have the same experience. Mine was at a time, where there was no experience at all. We heard it whistle and we heard it bang. It was wartime, and that might be the one which made them specialized, listening to it. But otherwise, I enjoyed every minute of that talk.
Do you expect to see that the relationship between these young people and the seniors will last beyond this project?
I wouldn't be surprised. Both sides have already asked me, is there something else that we can do ahead? And they've come up with some ideas, and I'm not going to say them now because in theater you can jinx if you give yourself. I'm going to look at it very seriously, but I think the idea of passing on the vital things about how you lived is so important to appreciate what we have now.
This living history project, The Tales They Can Tell, will be available through the Welland Public Library. Visit wellandlibrary.ca for information. Reporting in Welland for The Source, I'm Mike Balsom.